Good morning, all. Myself, Jay Fanton. I'm working as assistant professor in the Department of ECE in SSM Institute of Engineering and Technology. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the topic combination circuits in digital electronics, the subject digital electronics. As we all know that digital electronic circuits can be classified into two things. One is a combination circuit and another one is a sequential circuit. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the basic steps involved in designing of a combination circuit. Later, we will be discussing about the few examples for a combination circuit. That will be half adder. That is the most basic combination circuit. After that, a little bigger one, that is full adder, and after that we'll be discussing about a parallel adder circuit. With that will be these are things we will be discussing in today's session. As you can see in the screen, this is a basic block diagram of a combination circuit. That is, it has n number of inputs and m number of outputs. Okay, the number of inputs and number of outputs differs for each circuit. The points that I have mentioned is logic gates and no storage device. As the output of a combination circuit, it depends purely on the present input. Okay, it depends purely on the present, as the output depends purely on the present input, doesn't need any storage devices to store the past output. That is a major advantage of using a combination circuit. It doesn't need any memory devices, and whatever input we are applying, it all processes it and instantly it all gives you the output. That's a basic operation of a combination circuit in general. The next one is the steps involved in designing a combination circuit. These are the steps involved in designing a combination circuit. The first one is problem definition. That is, we need to define the operation of a circuit. That is, what is the goal of a circuit? That's what the first point highlights. That is, we need to define the problem definition. If you are taking up an adder, then the actual operation of the circuit, there is a problem is we need to add two numbers or three numbers or four numbers, n numbers we need to add, and it should give an output. That is, there will be two outputs for an adder. That is going to be a sum and a carry. That's a problem definition. Later, determining the number of inputs and outputs. That's what, as I have mentioned, for an adder we can have two inputs, three inputs, and n number of inputs. So we need to constrain the number of inputs. It can be two, or it should be two or three or four, that need to be mentioned, and the number of outputs, it need to be defined. That is a second step of designing a combination circuit. And the third step is assigning letter symbols to the inputs and outputs. That is, we will be having three inputs or four inputs or n number of inputs. In order to classify between the inputs, each input should have a symbolic name, A, B, C, D. Like that, we can use some alphabets, or A1, A2, A3. Like that, we can use a alphabet and number combinations. Same way, for outputs, we need to name them with a symbol or some alphabets or with the number. Anything can be used to represent a input and output. The fourth step is derivation of the truth table. As we have the block diagram of a circuit, the number of inputs and number of outputs. Based on that, we need to create the relationship between the input and output. That relationship can be easily defined by the truth table. Based on the truth table, in the fifth step, we'll be creating the Boolean expressions. Either we can create the Boolean expressions from a K-map, or directly by using a Boolean loss. Either way, we can create the Boolean expression from the truth table. And in the final step, we'll be drawing the logic diagram based on the Boolean expressions, what we are derived from the truth table. Okay, these 6 steps are the universal steps used in creating a combination circuit. Little alterations will be here. We'll be doing some little alterations here and there based on the circuits what we are dealing with. Okay, the next one what we are going to discuss is about the basic circuit, that is a half adder. As you can see in the screen, half adder has the block diagram has been shown on the screen. It has two inputs A and B and two outputs sum and carry. As I mentioned, we have the problem, that is we need to design a circuit in order to add 2 input to 1 bit inputs, and it need to generate 2 outputs, each should be 1 bit. That is a problem. And the next one is we have defined the number of inputs and number of outputs. We have 2 inputs and 2 outputs. The third step is we need to assign a symbolic name to each input and each output. As you can see in the screen, the first input has been named as A and second input is named as B. First input has been named as A and second input has been named as B, and similarly the output has been named as sum. In simple it's called as S, and another output is called as a carry, it's named as C. Okay, we have till now we have concluded 3 steps. The fourth step is creating a truth table based on the input and output. As you can see, this is a truth table of the half adder circuit. Okay, we have 2 inputs A, B, and we have 2 outputs sum and carry. Okay, as we all know, in binary addition, if you add 0 and 0, then it all gives you 0 and 0. Sum as 0 and carry as 0. That's what the first row denotes. In the second row, as A is 0 and B is 1, we are adding 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1, then the sum will be 1 and the carry will be 0. Similarly, in third row, we are having A as 1 and B as 0. Okay, so if you are adding 1 and 0, then as it is, as in the second row, the third row will be sum will be 1 and carry will be 0. And in the final row, we have both the A and B input as 1. If you are adding 1, 1, then we will be getting a value 1, 0. That is, sum will be 0 and carry will be 1. If you are taking 1, 1 as a inputs, then 1 plus 1 is equal to 1, 0. So it's 0 and 1. Okay. The leftmost position is the carry position and the rightmost position is the sum position. That's how we have created the truth table. Okay. In the fifth step is going to be creation of a Boolean expressions. Based on this truth table values, we need to create an expression for a out sum and carry. That's what shown in the next slide. Okay. We are using a K-map to create the expressions. We will be plotting the values from the truth table in this K-map for sum and carry. Based on the grouping, we have written up the expressions for sum. The sum expression will be A bar B plus AB bar. As we all know that XOR expression is A bar B plus AB bar. So this lengthy expression has been simplified into a single gate XOR gate, A XOR B. Carry, we have in carry K-map, we have only one single grouping. So it gives us the expression carry is equal to AB. Okay. Based on this expression, we are creating a logic circuit that has been shown in the slide. This is a logic circuit for a half adder circuit. Okay. As we all know, the sum is a XOR B. This has been implemented by this XOR gate, and carry is equal to A dot B. That has been implemented by this AND gate. This is how we create a circuit, create a combination circuit. This is a procedural flow of a creation of a combination circuit. Till now we have discussed about the basic circuit, that is a half adder. Next we are moving on to the next level circuit, that is a full adder. The major constraint of a half adder is we can only add 2 inputs. This limits the operation of a half adder. How it's limiting is we can't use a series of half adders to add more number of bits. If you are adding up another half adder in the next stage, then it will add the sum and carry of the first stage only. Another new input can't be added in the next stage. That is a major drawback of a half adder. So we are moving on to the next circuit, that is a full adder. In full adder, we will be having 3 inputs A, B, C in. Okay, that means we can add up outputs from the previous stage and another new input. Okay, in the next stage, we can add up outputs from the previous stage and add up a new input. That's how full adder compensates the drawback of a half adder. Okay, as you can see in the screen, here full adder has three inputs, that is A, B and C in. Okay, it has three inputs A, B and C in. Similar as a half adder, it has two outputs, sum and then carry. That is, usually we call this as a C out. Yeah, that's about the carry. Okay, this is about the three. As you can see, we have completed the first three steps. We have found the problem of the problem. We have defined the problem. We have named the number of inputs and number of outputs, and we have named the inputs with the symbol alphabet, and we have named the outputs with the alphabet name. We have completed three steps. The fourth step is creation of a truth table. As you can see in the screen itself, we have a truth table. Inputs we have three inputs A, B and C in. We have two outputs, sum and carry. When all the inputs are 0, then our sum and carry will be 0. Okay. But if any one of the input is going to be 1 and other inputs are going to be 0, that we can take up this row, second row, and then we can take up the fifth row. In both the rows, in third row. In second, third and fifth row, only one of the input is 1 and other inputs are 0. In this condition, our sum and carry will be, sum will be 1 and carry will be 0. Okay. Okay. If any two inputs are going to be 1 and one input is going to be 0, that's we can highlight it in the fourth row, and then in fifth row, and then in fourth row, sixth row, and then seventh row. We can see that any two inputs are having 1 and one of the input is 0. Okay, in this condition, our sum will be 0 and then our carry will be 1. Okay, and finally, if all the inputs are going to be 1, then that is highlighted in the 8th row. If all the inputs are going to be 1, then both the sum and carry will be 1. Okay, this is a truth table of a full adder circuit. Okay, easily we can remember the outputs, output values. If all the inputs is going, as mentioned in the first row, if all the inputs are going to be 0, then both the sum and carry will be 0. If all the inputs are going to be 1, both sum and carry will be 1. If only one input is 1 and others are 0, then sum will be 1 and carry will be 0. If two inputs are going to be 1 and one input is going to be 0, then it will be a inverted value. That is, sum is equal to 0 and carry is equal to 1. Okay, this is a truth table of a full adder circuit. Okay, as we all know that now we are going to design a fifth. We are moving on to the fifth step of a combination circuit design. Okay, in the fifth step, we will be creating a Boolean expression. Usually, we'll be using a K-map, as it is much easier to form a expression when compared to the Boolean directly using a Boolean loss. Okay, we'll be as you can see in the screen, we have plotted the values from the sum output in the K-map, and we have made a 4 single groupings. Okay, the 4 single groupings have given us an expression. Sum is equal to A bar B bar C in plus A bar B C in bar plus A B bar C in bar plus A B C in. Okay, when we use a Boolean loss, further after this step, if we are using a Boolean loss, it will be much easier. So we have used a Boolean loss to simplify this expression, and finally we have created an expression sum is equal to A XOR B XOR C in. Okay, as you can easily compare the first expression and the last expression. The first expression, it needs around 4 3-input AND gates and 1 3-input OR gate. But in the final expression, it just needs only a 3-input XOR gate. That's how we have used a Boolean loss to simplify the lengthier expression into a simple one. Okay. And the carry, as you can see in the carry K-map, we have three pairs of grouping. The first pair is AB, second pair is BC in, and third pair is AC in. We can't simplify after this, so we are keeping this expression as it is, and we are moving on to the step 6, that is creation of a logical circuit. Okay, the sum expression has been implemented by using a 3-input XOR gate, and the carry expression has been implemented by using a 3 2-input AND gates and 1 3-input OR gate. Okay, this is about the full adder circuit. Okay, the same steps has been implemented with slight modifications. Okay, that's about the full adder circuit. Okay, next we can move on to till now we have discussed about the steps, what is combinational circuit and steps involved in the design of a combinational circuit. After that we discussed about the basic combinational circuit, that is half adder. After that we moved on to the full adder circuit, as half adder has a constraints. So in order to have a better application, we are moving on to the full adder circuit. In the next level, we are going to discuss about the circuit called parallel adder. The parallel adder is going to use it's a collection of full adders. Okay, we have discussed about the full adder. Now we are going to combine more number of full adders to create a larger circuit that can be used in the modern electronic gadgets. Okay, now we are going to discuss about the parallel binary adder. The parallel binary adder will have, what we are going to discuss is about a 4-bit parallel binary adder. In order to have a easy understanding, we are just considering a 4-bit parallel binary adder, but in practically we'll be using 32-bit adder or a 64-bit adder in a modern computers or mobile phones or in calculators or in laptops or everywhere. Okay, as the processors are going to be 32-bit processor and 64-bit processor, the number of bit based on the number of bits, we will be using the full adder, parallel binary adder. If it is going to be a 32-bit processor, we will be using a 32-bit parallel adder. If it is going to be a 64, then we will be using a 64-bit parallel adder. Even there is 128 parallel adders are available in the current consumer level applications. Okay. As you can see in the screen, I have shown the 4-bit parallel adder block diagram. Is a general block diagram of a 4-bit parallel adder circuit. Okay. Yeah. 4-bit, that means 4-bit denotes that each input has 4-bit. That is, A has 4-bit and B has 4-bit. In order to have a better understanding, I have taken up an example. That is, A value is 1110 and B value is 0011. Okay. At the first stage, you will be applying a carry that is going to be 0. Always the first stage carry, that is C0, is going to be always the C0 value is going to be 0. Okay, whatever value will be adding, the C0 value is always going to be 0. That's what I have mentioned here. So, okay, if you are adding 0 plus 0 plus 0, then it gives a value 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1, 0. So, the sum value will be 1 and the carry value will be 0. That carry will be moved on to the next stage. That is, the carry that is generated in the first full adder is moved on to the second full adder, that is C1. That's named as a C1. Okay, now in the second stage, we are adding a value 0 plus 1 plus 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 1, 0. So, the sum is 0. And the carry 1 is moved on to the next stage. Now again we are adding 1 plus 1 is 1, 0, 1, 0 plus 0 is 1, 0. So we are keeping the sum value at the bottom and we are moving the carry to the next stage, that is 1 to the next stage. Now again once again we are adding a value 1, 1, 1, 1 is 1, 1, 0 plus 0 is 0. So the value will be 1 and then 0. Okay. The final answer is 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. That is a sum value of adding 1, 1, 1, 0 and 0, 0, 1, 1. Okay. This is a basic operation of a addition of 4-bit values. Okay. Now we can discuss the same operation in the block diagram itself. Before moving on, I'll erase the things. Okay. As you can see, in the first stage, we are adding the values A0 and then B0 and C0. Whatever sum generated will be passed on to the bottom location, and the carry generated will be transferred to the next location. Similarly, in second stage, that is second full adder, A1 and B1 and the C1 from the previous stage will be added, and it generates a S1 sum, and it also generates a carry C2 that will be passed on to the next stage. In the third stage full adder, A2, B2 and C2 from the previous stage are added, and it generates two outputs. One is a S2 and another one is a C3. Okay, similar as the previous stage, in the fourth stage full adder adds up the A3 and B3 and C3 from the previous stage and it generates two outputs. One is a sum S3 and C4, that is a final one. If we compare this block diagram and the previous numerical addition, then S0 value will be 1. Okay, S1 value will be 0. S2 value will be 0. S3 value will be 0. And C4 value will be 1. Okay. This is how we have added two 4 bits, A0 to A3 and B0 to B3. And we have generated an output S0 to S3 and C4. This is the actual operation of a parallel adder. As we all know that parallel operation is much faster when compared to the sequential operation. Okay, the parallel operation means that things happens simultaneously. Okay, that's a parallel operation. So parallel operation should be completed within a single time period, but practically the parallel adder operation won't complete in a single time period. Okay, now we this is caused delay is caused by the carry propagation delay. Okay, the delay in the total operation is carried out by the carry propagation delay. That is, carry propagation delay means what it means is, first stage carry need to be transferred to the second stage. Then only the second stage can perform the addition operation. Same way, third stage can perform the addition operation only the carry from the second stage reaches it. Same way, the fourth stage can perform the addition operation only when it receives a carry from the third stage. So the final stage need to wait for all the previous stages to generate the carry. This delay causes a delay in the parallel adder. Okay, this delay is named as a parallel carry propagation delay. Okay, that's what highlighted in this next stage. Next slide. As you can see in this slide, another name for a parallel adder is a ripple carry adder. This is another name for a parallel adder, parallel binary adder. The first drawback I have mentioned that number of bits increases, number of full adders increases. Yeah. As you can see in the previous screen, we have implemented a 4-bit parallel adder. So for each bit we need each single full adder. For 4-bit we have used 4 full adders. Okay. So if the number of full adders increases, number of bits increases, the number of full adders increases. The next point is a carry propagation delay that I have mentioned already. The last stage needs to get the carry from the previous stages. Then only it can perform the operation. This delay causes a delay of the total operation. Okay, that's a carry propagation delay. Okay, these are the points about the parallel binary adder. Before conclusion, we can have a small summary of today's discussion. In today's discussion, we have discussed about the combination circuit, and the basic combination circuit output depends only on the present input. So it doesn't need any storage devices. Next, we discussed about the design procedures, problem definition, determination of number of inputs and outputs, assignment of symbols for input and outputs, and then creation of a truth table, and then creation of a Boolean expression based on the truth table, and then creation of a logic diagram based on the Boolean expressions. Later, we discussed about the basic combinational circuit, that is half adder. Half adder has 2 inputs and 2 outputs. The circuit of a half adder has a XOR gate and a 2-input OR gate. two input AND gate. Later we discussed about the full adder circuit. The full adder has 3 inputs and 2 outputs. Both the 3 input and 2 outputs are going to be 1 bit. The full adder circuit has 3 input XOR gate used to implement the sum, and 3 input AND gates and 1 3 input OR gate are used to implement the carry output. Later we discussed about the parallel binary adder that uses a combination or collection of 4 parallel adders. Okay. For practical easy understanding, we have discussed about a 4-bit parallel adder, but practically we'll be using a 32-bit parallel adder, 64-bit or 128-bit parallel adders. Okay. The parallel adder is also called as a ripple carry adder. Actually, parallel adder should perform the operation in a single time unit, but due to the carry propagation delay, it will be performing the operation with a small time delay. Okay, that's what carry propagation delay means. Another drawback is, as the number of bits increases, the number of full adders that are being used also increases. Okay, this is about the combinational circuit and basic combinational circuits perform operations. Thank you all.